Hello guys, my name is Alberto, aka Destroyer 48, and today I am going to go over um, one of the best tag teams ever, the Road Warriors. There's a documentary on the Road Warriors. I got this sometime back. That's consisting of Hawk and Animal, and here's the back. They show them in their tag team days. And there they are again. Hawk and Animal. So I'm gonna be going over, arguably one of the best tag teams ever again. Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors, but they also call them Legion of Doom Road Warriors, and I'll get into why do they have two names. We'll talk about that. So I'm gonna go ahead and start talking about what you're gonna get out of this. I'm just gonna talk about them, and I'm gonna go over their careers. I'm also gonna go over material that's not in here. This is I decided to do both. I just wanted to use this for the cover. I want to just talk about the Road Wars, but since I have the cover of the DVD, I'm gonna start talking about the DVD and then other stuff that's not in here, other tag matches and other information. Probably after I go over this. So let's jump into this. Um, Road Warriors grew up in the mean streets of Chicago. That's where they grew up, and it's kind of weird because they're not brothers, but I guess their families were kind of united. And according to the DVD, they both took off to Minneapolis. I don't know how two families go. I mean, they must have been really close. That's the part I don't get. I would like to know more information about that. So from Chicago, they moved to Minneapolis. Um, Animal says that one Hawk went to one high school over there in the same town, and Animal went to another high school. I guess they kept in touch a little bit, and later on they got in touch more. And they went into when they got older, they went into body. They were young adults. They went into bodybuilding, and they met other friends there. Something that they went bodybuilding with other future stars like Rick Rude, Nord. One of the Demolition was there. I think it was Slash, and many great others. So I guess they were there at a really good gym. Uh, they went, and that they went. They were bouncers at a club called Grab and Bees, along with other their friends that would also be former stars. They would say they would get drunks or people from that club, people that went to that club that they were drunk or they're not behaving themselves, that they would toss them out over some kind of a little fence or something like that. And they would do competition of who would of the drunks they would throw out, who would throw them further down. It is said. They said at this club that even the famous Hulk Hogan would play his bass there when they had a band there at that establishment called Grandma Bees. They were talking about Eddie, a wrestling trainer named Eddie Sharkey, that this guy would train wrestlers. They hooked up with him, and they were training there, and it was very hard. And they said Eddie Sharkey would hardly ever get in a ring with them, just tell them how to do the holds and all that. Then one day comes a big time wrestling name called Ole Anderson, which would be later part of the Four Horsemen later on. He's gonna. It said that this guy is like he's like a bookie for wrestling and all that. He do all the matches and stuff. And it said that he picked up Animal first to go to the wrestling business. Like, hey, you want me to wrestle me? He's like, yeah, sure. They took Animal. Then they took Hawk, and Oli was a booker for the NWA. Now I seen some of this footage. When they start off, they don't look like this. They look like dressed in leather, and they have like motorcycle fashion statement kind of hats. They look like bikers. Not like this. They kind of look like the village people. That's the first gimmick I believe they had. And they were kicking butt. They put them as a tag team, Hawk and Animal. Well, I don't even know I don't think they were called Hawk and Animal then. But still, they put them in the ring and they just beat up their opponents beat them within 30 seconds to a minute. Just bash them. Then later on, it's said that Oli said, "We're gonna make you guys different," and they're gonna. He goes, Oli Anderson says, "I seen a movie called The Road Warriors." He goes, "We're gonna make you guys different." So they put the paint on them, and they started looking more like this, but more like not with red, but with black usually. So now they look like this, and same thing in the NWA. They're kicking butt, and they got the NWA tag champions like that real quick. So they were established there. And then I believe they went to a lot of other places. They went to the AWA. And Animal saying that, hey, we're here wrestling in the NWA. I mean AWA. And we're wrestling our heroes like Baron von Raschke and the Crusher and many others. So they're going to kick butt in the AWA and wrestle all those wrestlers over there. And they're going to be tag champs again everywhere they dominate. From there, they're going to go back. And they're gonna go to NWA promotions, and then I don't know. I think around here they also start going to Japan too. But when they go back to the NWA, they start feuding with, I believe, immediately with the Russians. The Russians are the tag champs at that time. The Road Warriors face the Russians, and I believe they're gonna wrestle them, but they're also gonna have a strap match, and the Russians consist of Ivan and Nikita Koloff. So they're gonna wrestle them, and then the Road Warriors win. The Road Warriors also feud with Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey, the Midnight Express. I remember from there. I believe in the video they show the Road Warriors that got in Japan, but they do this video where they're like high and up in a building, like you know how the painters have some platform where painters are, they're real high, and then they have like pumpkin heads and they throw them down. They're like, this is what we're gonna do to Dennis and Bobby. They throw the pumpkin, it lands from all the way up there, from like, I don't know, 50 feet in the air, and they throw them down, and the pumpkins, they splatter. They're like, that's what we're gonna do the Midnight Express. Oh, and I think that platform is going to lead up to the scaffold match, the famous scaffold match. So when the Road Warriors come back, they have the scaffold match with the Midnight Express. I remember seeing that. They're way up high in the sky. I don't know, 50 feet or whatever. In the match, they drop the Midnight Express, and then they drop Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette hides. I think he's... Oh, by the way, Road Warriors they're managed by Paul Eldering, a former wrestler himself. I believe they chase Jim Cornette up the scaffold, and then Jim Cornette's he's gonna fall. Jim Cornette had this tall guy, like at least 6'6", called Bubba Rogers, Big Bubba Rogers. He goes into the scaffold to try to catch Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette falls, and Big Bubba Rogers is supposed to catch him, but he doesn't. He misses, and oh my gosh, it looks like Jim Cornette fell like, I don't know, 50 feet and landed on his butt. I don't know, he's surviving. And they're carrying him out, and poor guy, man, he's hurt. So, The Road Warriors are there for a while. They feud with like I was saying, the Midnight Express, the Russians. I saw them rush. Um, they wrestled the Barbarian, the Warlord as well. But when they were in NWA, because later on, Barbarian and Warlord are gonna go to the WWE. Um, um, the Road Warriors had also wrestled the Freebirds in AWA. They're gonna have their famous matches with Magnum and Dusty. We're having a feud with the Road Warriors. I'm sorry, the Road Warriors. Magnum and Dusty had a feud with the Horsemen. They're gonna feud with the Horsemen. They're gonna have War Games, teaming up with I believe it was Magnum and Dusty, the Road Warriors versus the Horsemen. And the Horsemen have like Ole and Arn Anderson, Tully, and Rick. And that's the one, and I think they were able to get Paul Ellering, and the Horsemen's manager was J.J. Dillon. And I think that's the famous one where I think it's Animal. He picks up J.J. Dillon. J.J. Dillon is an old man in his tights. They pick him up and they slam him and they pin J.J. Dillon. That was an entertaining match. I saw that one. Um, I mean, the Road Warriors wrestled a lot of teams. That when I did not have cable at one time, but I barely had cable, and I remember it was like they got the Road Warriors in a cage match, and they were able to get a lot of heel teams. They were wrestling one heel team, and a lot of them jumped in. I think it was Samoa SWAT team, the Freebirds, and they started being on the Road Warriors. And I think that was one of the last times I saw the Road Warriors in NWA Jim Crockett Promotions. Um, then they go into from there. I believe they go to, and I'm pretty sure they have stints going to Japan. I'll go to the over some Japan matches that later on, but they're just wrestling Japanese and other tag teams. But I'll do that after I go over the DVD. Then they're gonna go to WWE, and they think they're gonna wrestle like the Godwins, the Beverly Brothers. They feel with the Beverly Brothers. I remember the Beverly Brothers funny. You know how the Road Warriors are all big, strong, and jacked up like bodybuilders. And then the Beverly Brothers says we're gonna get the Road Warriors, and they have spaghetti arms, and we're gonna we're gonna beat them up and all that. That's the funniest thing I heard from one of the Beverly Brothers interviews over the Road Warriors. That was not on the DVD, but I had to get to that before I forget. Road Warriors, they become WWE champions. Now let me mention this before I forget. I need to mention this now. In the NWA, the Road Warriors theme music, and their shoulder pads were usually in black. They did cool stuff. They come in motorcycles and stuff. Like, they would come to the theme music of Black Sabbath or Ozzy Osbourne. Iron Man, the song, dun, 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 dun. I mean, these themes look really cool, awesome. But when they get to WWE, they give them it's like a song trying to be tough, but it's for children, like children friendly. Oh my gosh, man! The Road Warriors should know that when you go to WWE, they water everything down. They have it. They make wrestling. That's why I'm not a big fan of WWE. It's watered down. It doesn't look cool. It looks for children. If it was over Pride, I think they should have stuck to wrestling in Japan, and that is where I'm getting my analysis or my opinion. It just looks goofy, it looks childish. They don't look that tough anymore. WWE waters everything. If it was just for Pride, stay in NWA and WCW. No, I'm pretty sure they went to, excuse me, they went to WWE for the money, not for Pride. After that, they wrestled Money Inc. That's with IRS and $1 Million Man. If memory serves me correct, well, from the DVD, when they wrestled Money Inc. once again with IRS and AKA called his name's Mike Rotunda and $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. They wrestled a tag match in England, and then Vince McMahon made them use a stupid puppet because in England they came down with their bikes. It was okay. Okay, you got it. It's cool. But they put a stupid puppet named Rocco on one of the bikes. That does not make any freaking sense. Why are you making them look stupid? Well, that's WWE. That's why I don't like WWE. I like legitimate wrestling. I'm a basic wrestling fan. I'm not a child. Even at that time when I was a child, I didn't, or younger, I didn't like it. It was watered down. They did not look cool anymore. Um, it just looks stupid. Why are you gonna put a puppet on one of their bikes coming down the aisle riding on their bikes? It looks so stupid. It was like a puppet, like a ventriloquist puppet. It's so dumb, but I'm gonna pass this. But I'm just saying, it's just stupid. That's why I'm not a big WWE fan. I'm a little bit of WWE fan with the Attitude Era, and maybe when I was smaller, I was like watching Hulk Hogan, and I like okay, whatever, and it was okay because I didn't have cable. That's all the wrestling I had. All I could watch was WWE Saturday Night Main Event. I didn't have cable, so I couldn't watch NWA on TV. I didn't have TBS or any of that good stuff. I wish I did because I would have to be watching that. Um, but back to the England and the Wrestling Money Inc. And the stupid puppet. But it is said that Animal Dust says that I don't know was that Animal or Hawk, but when they went to park their bikes in that match with Money Inc. That one of their leather pants they went off the wrong side of the bike and their pant got stuck to the muffler or the engine because it was I don't know what. So that happened. From there, they're probably gonna go to Japan, but I know they end up in WCW in the Nitro era. They wrestled Harlem Heat, pretty cool, and the Steiner brothers. but but the matches they're like okay, but the reason they're okay is because they're so short. They look like they're wrestling for 10 minutes, tag team for 10 minutes, and you don't get a lot from 10 minutes and their competitive matches. Um, and they're jarring a lot, talking a lot, and they don't have that much time to wrestle. If they would have made them 20-minute matches or whatever, it would have been cool. So they wrestle the Steiners, Harlem Heat, um, and they're just there for a cup of coffee. They don't last that long. And according to Animal, he said we didn't stay in WCW that much because Eric Bischoff was running the show at the time, and he's like, uh, Eric Bischoff, you promised us you would let us wrestle here in WCW and in Japan because the big money's in Japan, and that Eric Bischoff didn't. He didn't. He did not honor the contract that for them to go to Japan, and then Eric Bischoff it is said he's saying in there that I don't think they were we didn't value them as much as they valued themselves. So there they go back to WWE. When they back to WWE, they're treated worse this time. And then Hawk is dealing with drug problems. Um, and I know I saw a match with um they were wrestling some like wrestling geeks or something like that, like a really tall wrestling circus geek kind of character, really tall, and then they're wrestling a guy with a mask. I mean, they look like a joke. Um, LOD Road Warriors are wrestling them, Oh, by the way, before I forget, I promise to explain the LOD. Back in Jim Crockett days, LOD was or Road Warriors. They were just Road Warriors, but they were gonna get them to join forces with King Kong Bundy, Jake Roberts, the Spoiler, and that's the only ones I remember. And they're all supposed to become LOD together, Legion of Doom, but it didn't happen, or it did happen for a short period, and they all split. Spoiler went up to Canada, King Kong Bundy went somewhere else, Jake Roberts went somewhere else. So back to WWE. Yeah, they're wrestling some, like I was saying, a wrestling geek tag team, real tall guy and a guy in a mask, and they couldn't even beat them. And Hawk is acting like an idiot. He's probably drugged up or whatever. He's going like this. I don't know. And then they have this other WWE wrestler. I think his name's Draws. Become a third member of the Road Warriors in case, because Hawk was having problems to go help him out. But I remember the Road Warriors wrestling Mr. DX, tag team from DX, called, where they were considered Mr. Ass and some other guy. I think it was one of the Armstrong brothers. I forget what they called them. They're wrestling them, and these guys throw the Road Warriors in the trash. I mean, that was like the worst thing. I'm like, come, oh my gosh, guys, come on. Why did you have to go to Why you had to go back to WWE? But it said they wanted to retire there. They were gonna make a lot of money there. And then they had this thing where Hawk, I think he wasn't even in paint. He went during that WWE event. He went on a scaffold up there, and it looked like he fell. And Paul Ellering was there, but he was managing another tag team. And Animal and Paul Ellering went back there to see if he was okay. I mean, man, they really WWE the last time run they really trashed the Road Warriors. Um, Soon after, Hawk is gonna die. I don't know from a heart attack or something. Animal kept wrestling. Animal was wrestling in the inner independent circuit. Um, and that's a lot of the DVD. Now the other mentions I want to make from concerning matches they wrestled, I did. I should have saw more matches, but I saw a lot. That's a lot. I did. I know they wrestled the fabulous ones. I did see when the Road Warriors. Well, I know they wrestled like Jerry the King Lawler with somebody else, probably in men's. They wrestled everywhere. I forgot. I don't know if I didn't mention Road Warriors wrestled one of my favorite tag teams. Probably my favorite tag team, the Skyscrapers with Sid Vicious and Dan Spivey. I love their theme music, and they're super big, man. Like Sid Vicious is like at least 6'9". Dan Spivey was like 6'6", 6'7". No, like 6'8", I think. Those guys were huge. They beat up people. They faced Road Warriors, and according to what I remember, Road Warriors they injured Sid Vicious, and Sid Vicious is huge. He's a big tower house, pure muscle of 6'9". It's a 6'9" building. I recently watched the Road Warriors in Japan wrestle the Funks, Terry Funk and Dory Funk Jr. It was a pretty good match. I mean, it was okay. It was nobody won that match. Double disqualification, something like that. They ended up throwing chairs. They were throwing a whole bunch of chairs at each other. It was crazy. Um, Road Warriors wrestled Hardy Race and Stan Hansen. Almost forgot his name. I mean, these are not just ordinary wrestlers. Hardy Race is a six-time world champion. According to Ric Flair, legit, this guy's super tough. And then they wrestled Stan Hansen, huge guy, Texan 6'6", 6'7" brawler. This guy is known for fighting with Big Van Vader and poking out his eye. I mean, Big Van Vader's no slouch. I think he's three-time WCW champ, something like that. They were fighting in the aisles. They were fighting in the audience. I mean, it was like really tough stuff, man. When they hit you, is no joke. Um, Legion of Doom wrestled Crusher and Dick the Bruiser. I haven't found that match, but I heard about it. I did say when the Road Warriors wrestled the Crusher and Van Raschke, Baron Von Raschke, pretty tough customers as well. Another pretty cool, fun match. They wrestled the Briscoes. I mean, they wrestled everybody. Yeah, look, the Legion of Doom Road Warriors, man. They wrestled everybody. Some really cool stuff. So, I don't think it's available anymore. I got this a long time ago, unless you want to look for it in eBay or Amazon. It's called The Road Warriors. Here it says the life and death of the most dominant tag team in wrestling history. That I agree with. So if you want, you can try to see if it's on YouTube. I haven't seen if it's on YouTube. But check out if you can buy it on eBay and Amazon if you're really into it. If you really want to get it, I'm pretty sure you'll find it somewhere. So this is gonna conclude my review on the Road Warriors. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you keep every once in a while look them up. If you're a Road Warriors fan, look them on YouTube. Go back and see their matches. Go back into wrestling history, wrestling history, or just a fan. Yeah, just go check out the Road Warriors So I'm gonna go ahead and end my review. My name's Alberto, aka Destroyer 48. This concludes my review of the Road Warriors. I'll leave you with this. Oh, by the way, if you like my content, you like my review, consider subscribing to my channel. So I'm gonna leave you with this. The world will never be a perfect place, but we can all make it better. Until next time, my name's Alberto, aka Destroyer 48. I'm signing off, and I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.